I am so excited. We have finally made it to one of my favorite things to teach in math, which is division. Okay, it is the best. I remember learning division. I was probably fourth or fifth grade. I hated it. I thought it was super hard, and maybe that's why I like teaching it so much, is because I've looked for ways to make it easier for you guys. Now, you have to learn it a couple of different ways, but I will make them and try to make them as easy as possible. So the first way we're going to talk about today is with our area model. Just like we used an area model with multiplication, we're going to use an area model with division. All right, so our title for today is Division Area Models. And we're going to do 3 different examples. We're going to start with one that's pretty easy, not too bad, and we're going to work our way to one that's pretty difficult, okay? But still not the hardest you might see. So our first example is the problem 95 divided by 5. Now, before you start, this number you're dividing by, we're going to get into the habit of making a T-chart for our problems. Not only will it help us with our multiplication facts, but it's also going to help us with our division problem, and it's going to make it much easier to walk through the process of division if you already have this made. And you're going to go and list all your facts, and I know you're like, oh, my 5s are easy. Yes, they are, but still, it's going to make dividing easier. Now, when you write this, I want you to leave some space right here, because I'm going to show you how to use this chart and multiples of 10 to even make dividing even easier. All right, so I'm going to do it quickly. If you need to use your dots to do it, count your dots to help you. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. All right, so now we are ready to divide. And so what we're going to do, since this is an area model, you are still drawing your box. It's your box model. Same thing, except this is what's different. You only know one number that goes outside, only one of them, the 5, and it goes right there. Now your total, the 95, the total is usually in the middle, so we're going to write 95 in the middle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look, and this is how we're going to use this. We're going to look for something that's close to 95. If I don't have anything close to 95, then I can multiply everything in my chart by 10, make it 10 times bigger by adding a 0. All right? So I'm going to look down my list. The biggest number, the biggest multiple I have on here is 45. That's really not that great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply all my numbers and make it all, my whole chart, 10 times greater. Just put a 0 on all those, and then put a 0 on all these. Now, these are all still multiples of 5. If I did 5 times 90, I'd get 450. If I did 5 times 50, I'd get 250. They're still multiples of 5. Now, 100 is really close to 95, but in division, you can't have a number that's bigger than this. So 50 is going to be the closest I can get. So I'm going to circle it. The first number is your factor. So it goes on top because 10 times 5 gives you 50. And I'm going to subtract 50 away. And I end up with 45. That's when I decide I'm going to split my area model, and I'm going to move my 45 right over here. So I'm going to look again, because I'm going to look, is there anything I can divide it out more into? And I'm going to look down my chart again, over here on my multiples. Nope, these are all too big now. So I'm going to go back through, and I'm going to mark all my zeros out. Just that last 0 we just drew. real fast. Now when I look for 45, look, I have it right down here. All right, so I put my 9 up here that I'm going to add to my 10, and I subtract 45. I end up with 0. That means I don't have a remainder. So to find my answer, I take these two factors up here, add them together, and that's my answer. 95 divided by 5 equals 19. All right, let's do another one. I love dividing this way. Some of my kids last year, ones I even taught them the faster way to do it, they still loved this way. All right, so let's do another example. This time we're going to do 126 divided by 6. Okay, so just like before, I'm going to start by making my 6 chart. You only go to 9. Oops, I didn't leave much room, but that's okay. All right, so 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, and 54. If you know your multiples, it makes making this chart a lot faster. And if you don't, you have your dots that you can count. All right. So I had some kids last year that when they added on their 0, they like to do it with a different color. So if you have a different color that you want to use to add on the zeros, you can. All right, so I'm ready to draw my model. Remember, when we think about the area model, this is one of your factors. This times something will give you 126, just like the fact families we were talking about yesterday. So when I look down my chart, I'm looking for this right here. And I do not have anything close. The closest I have is 54, and that's still, I think, too far away. I could still use it. It would just take more steps if I use that one. So I'm going to go ahead with a different color this time so that they stand out and add my zeros. I'm making my chart 10 times larger. Okay. So now I'm ready to look for 126. Ooh, I have 120 right here. That is really, really close. So that tells me that I'm going to put a 20, this first number, up top. And I'm going to do 120 here and subtract it. That leaves me with 6. So because I have 6 left, I have to bring it over. If the number you get right here when you subtract is equal to this or greater than this, you have to keep dividing. All right, so I have 6. Nothing on my chart is anywhere close to that, so I'm going to mark off those zeros. All right, and now I'm ready to look for something close to 6. And I have exactly 6 right here. So my plus 1 more goes there, right on the top, and then I subtract the 6. And I get left with nothing, which means I do not have a remainder. To find my answer, I take the 2 on top and add them together and get 21. So 126 divided by 6 equals 21. All right, so last example. So this one's going to be a little bit harder. Your problem is 588, and I'm going to divide this by, I'm trying to make sure, because I want you to have a remainder this time. Let me see if this one will have a remainder. Let me change that. I'm going to change it so it will have a remainder. Let's make it 587 divided by 7. All right, so make your T-chart. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to list 1 through 9 over here. right? And then, let's see, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Remember how to use your chart if you need to use your dots. And then it's 35, 42, 49, 56, 63. All right, so let's draw our area model. Seven is one of my factors, and then 587 is my total. Nothing on my chart is anywhere close to 587. The biggest I have is 63. So I'm going to go in, make my chart 10 times larger. Be like multiplying everything by 10 when you add the 0. All right, so 587, I am much closer. 560, that is really close. So 80 is going to go on top. And then I'm going to subtract 560. Let's see, 7, 2, and that's 0. All right, so I'm left still, I have 27 more that I need to divide up. Well, when I look at my smallest number on my chart, I have 70. So that tells me it's time to mark off those zeros, go back to my normal chart. Now I'm going to look, how close can I get to 27? 14, 21, that's pretty close. 28, but that's too much. You can't go over the number. So I'm going to have to back up and use this one. So I'm going to put my plus 3 more groups up here, minus 21, and I'm left with 6. All right, so since my smallest number on this chart is a 7, all right, and I'm dividing by 7, that means this has made it underneath this mark. When you get a number right here that's less than the number you're dividing by, that's your remainder. And so what happens with your remainder is after you add these two up to get 83, you're just going to put remainder, a little r, with a 6 on it. Just like that. So 587 divided by 7 is 83 remainder 6. All right, I have one for you to try, and I even drew the little chart on there for you so you can fill in your chart too.